Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys. So the market's still just figuring itself out over here. We're still in consolidation. I'm just going to point out, guys, we gapped up today. We got above the moving average. They're just stacked right now. Okay, so we're underneath them. They're resistance now. By default, you just expect them to provide support. So far, they are providing support. It doesn't look all that bad on the higher time frame, so really just pull back to the weekly 9 EMA. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we do push back up to highs. I don't think things are looking all too bad. Chips over here, guys, they typically do lead tech. Tech leads the broad market. All right. And, yeah, SMH looks like this. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Okay. There are, some things that aren't shaping up too well over here, like NVDA. Okay, it's just hanging on for dear life over here. But just look at how the MAGS ETF looks. Okay, weekly 9 EMA test, just like that. If we close out like this, we probably are going to bounce back up here. If we close the week out like that, not saying we stay here into Friday's close there, but yeah, I'm just pointing out, even if we do close out just exactly like this without pushing up higher into end of week, I think we're probably just poised to run it up. We also do know the government shut down, and by the end of that, which is probably going to be within 2 weeks now, now that we're 2 weeks into it, a little over there. Yeah, we are expecting price to be higher than right here, where it was on October 1st. Here on QQ, that's 603.79. Here in SPY, all right, that is right here at 669.37. Okay. So yeah, that's my bias over here. That's what I'm thinking. Now, with that being said, over here we have VIX. Okay, you push back up, you're selling right now. This makes me think we're just probably just going to chill in this range here and continue building out consolidation. I personally think the markets are going to be heading back up. VIX is not pushing past this area just yet. We have been here though. Okay, that's the daily time frame. We've been here for 3 sessions. We've been bobbing our heads up and down here, up and down, up and down. It's probably going to bring a breakout. Okay. But here on the 4 hour, you'd see very clearly defined range, guys. I would set your alert 23. Okay. Set your alert down here 19. If one of those gets hit, all right, you have the next little direction here on the VIX. All right. Come back over here to QQ, guys. Let's go over some levels. On the upside, we have 607.16 above there, 613.18, 615, 620. On the downside, 599.90, 595.93. Today's low. Take that out. We risk coming back down here, 588.50 underneath there, 583.32. Over here to SPY. On the upside, today's high, 670.23 above there, 673.95, 675, 678. 680. On the downside, we're just going to watch today's low, 658.93, 652.84, 649.48. I would not go nuts in this market trading the indices, guys. Okay. You have, quite volatile. VIX is back up, at high prices right now. Okay. We have volatile moves going on right now, and that is definitely something to take note of. Now, I know I just said we can easily move up. We can also move down. I just say mark alert for 658.93 here in SPY. If you take that out, I think we're probably coming down, underneath this low over here, which is all the way down here at 646.20. And then on the upside, you take out today's high, you are so close to all-time highs that you're probably just going to go straight there. Currently, we are 1.2% away, 1.3% from all-time highs. With where VIX is right now, guys, we can easily get that move intraday. We can easily get that. So I'm just pointing out, it's very easy to move in either direction now. IWM, I'm going to point out, is currently sitting at all-time highs. I don't think the market is all that weak, as, people may think. I just don't. That being said, I'd still say it's a wait-and-see, approach right now. Individual tickers are getting their moves. All right, I'm going to point some out at the end of the video, after we go over the Mag 7 stocks. But yeah, as far as the indices go, you really just have to wait and see. You got a battle going on between the bulls and the bears right now. Okay, every little dip you're finding buyers, every little new pop. It's been happening for a while, but you could really see the range building out here. It's pretty clear. Okay, but yeah, every new pop you find sellers. Pretty clear. Break above 607.16 here on QQQ. head up to all-time highs. Break underneath today's low, 595.93. Probably come back down to these lows and making a new low. All right, which would be, you know, underneath 595.93. We're talking 588.50, 583.32 underneath there. All right, and yeah, those are the indices, guys. Those are them. I still think DIA over here poised to make new highs. I already pointed out MAGS ETF, guys. You pulled back to the weekly 9 EMA. This is the MAGS 7 stocks as a whole. Come over here to Apple. You are starting to catch a bid. You know, not the prettiest looking thing like I was pointing out on the indices. You know, you were underneath the moving averages, short-term moving averages, the 5, the 9, and the 21 here, just stacked. That's resistance, okay? Apple did not pop above them today. But Apple's so close to all-time highs that I have a feeling this, you know, it's going to get moving and grooving over the next few weeks, just back up to all-time highs. It's a no-brainer. It's going back up there. It's so close. I thought it was probably going to be taking place this month, but you know, we're now halfway through the month and yeah, we've really gone nowhere. So we'll see about it. We'll see about it. Amazon over here, guys, second day in a row finding buyers at, it looks like the same spot. You're holding on to 211.42. I'm just going to point out the weekly chart. This looks rough. You take out that low, yeah, you get larger sell. Okay, and that's Amazon. Tesla over here, guys, starting to catch a bid. Okay, above 443.13, you have 453.55, 470.75, and then 488.54. Meta, you still got to get above 740.91. You got consolidation. If you swing down, watch the daily RSI over here. If you take out 690, all right, 660 to 670, expect those buyers to step in, and you can look for a 20 to 30 point bounce. Microsoft still consolidating. Right underneath the moving averages right there, just all sitting right above it. Okay, got to get back above 520, 519.30. That's your level to watch. All right, above there, you have 523.58, and then you head back to 531.03. The video, like I said, it's just hanging on the edge of the cliff right there. All right, hanging on for dear life. You lost the moving averages. I'm pretty positive this thing is going to come a little bit lower. I really do think, you know, as far as the stocks that are just going to straight up be moving with the markets right now, I really do think it's the move to just take a step back and wait and see. Take the wait and see approach with me, and I think you'll have a good time. Okay, there are plenty of individual tickers moving. All right, we got them on a daily and weekly basis. I give them to you spoon-fed here on this channel, and then if you want to come trade with me, you can, you know, just see those throughout the market session. There is that. But, you know, real talk, they're out there. I promise on a daily basis, you can hit them. There is always something that is going to be moving. And, you know, sometimes everything wants to fall off a cliff because there's a big, bad, scary catalyst that comes along like today. All right. Trump wants to keep, you know, fighting with China there. That's fine. Okay. Market still is probably going to make it back up to highs, you know, in the short term here. But yeah, NVIDIA, I think you're probably going to be coming down and test the 176 over there in the golden pocket. If buyers are going to step in before 164.07, then they do so between 171 and 176. There you go. All right, GOOG. So this starts my trade ideas right here on GOOG. GOOG, Google. GOOG, GOOGL, they both move the same. Right here, bull flag breakout. I've been pointing out. All right, I gave you a little bounce after a few days of consolidation over here. I called that one out. And guess what? You pulled back, and now you have this little triple top look to you off of 251.65. Looks like it is about to be breaking up. If you do pull back from here, okay, look for the higher low over here around the 21 EMA. That's going to create a right shoulder, and then you will have a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then if you come back up here, okay, probably going to break up to new highs, and that would be beautiful. It would, but yeah, I am looking for you to continue up to these highs in the short term here. I don't know if they're going to do it this week, but I will just remind you, GOOG was a monster not too long ago, and it's just been consolidating here for, you know, 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, we're very likely going to be resuming Google's move up in the short term. That's why I was telling people I don't think there's a reason to short this thing. You're just shorting for the reversion to the mean before the next impulsive move up. There's no reason to do that, okay? But yeah, Google's looking sexy. It's looking like it can be making some good moves tomorrow. HIMS. Big breakout today. Congrats if you guys ended up catching HIMS. All right. Looking like this thing is now starting its next big move. And where does that bring us? All-time highs, guys. I'm going to make a bold call. Bold call cotton here in this video. Okay. What is that going to be? All right. It's going to be HIMS to 90 plus over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to say next 2 weeks, not this weekly. Okay. Starts next week. And then the week after that. okay, which that is going to be the 10/31 expiration. I think we are going to be getting up to 90 plus before HIM's earnings. Okay. Not a guarantee, but I am going to tell you this thing has been consolidation for quite some time. And I pointed out once we got this red candle here, this was the beginning of this thing starting to build out structure before we launch up off of it. The next week you had this little inverted hammer candlestick, little guy there. Okay. And this week you're breaking out. Now, we have 2 more sessions in this weekly candle here. I think we probably go a little bit higher into end of week. We're getting a gap down here. It's a gift. I believe it's a gift. Again, no guarantees, but, you know, you guys can see what happens when you have these, you know, nice trending candlesticks. They do some cool things. So if we can close out like this, if we close out above 60.55 there, I think this thing is probably going to take out all-time highs next week. And I think it's probably, I'm just saying, it's probably going 80 plus like next week, maybe. But yeah, that is that. One trending candlestick, next one, 13% move. Wherever this high is, I'm going to be looking for a minimum 13% move off of that. And where does that bring us, guys? All-time highs. There you go. I think a larger move is low in here. We now have months of consolidation. You can come over here to the monthly time frame, and it is a beautiful picture over here. You could take off all of our beautiful lines. And yeah, you know, we've been pointing out that once we closed out like this last month, we probably were going to begin our breakout this month. We're now 2 weeks into the month of October, have 2 weeks left in this monthly candle. And yeah, if we're going to be breaking out the new all-time highs, then guess what? It happens this month over the next 2 weeks. That's why I made this my call. Okay. My bold call there. 90 plus on HIM's next 2 weeks, 10/31 expiration. So there you go. That's your, you know, top trade idea right now. I think Google looks absolutely beautiful over there, but yeah, HIM's is just starting to move. Congrats if you got in. On my first entry today, we almost went 100%. All right. Just, real quick over there on 1121 calls. I think this thing is going a lot higher. I ended up adding over here, and hey guys, this thing's going to be a big trade. Okay. SMR. Big move up today. You pulled back. I'm not sure if you're just going to, you know, continue pushing or not in the short term. I just know some days this thing likes to continue moving right away. Some days it likes to pull back, give it a consolidation day after you have your big moves, and then you continue the following session. So while I do think this thing is probably going higher into end of week, I'm just, you know, telling everyone that, yeah, it's no brainer. It's going higher. Okay. This thing just pushed into new all-time highs. Okay. It's just like over here, just look, but you know, look at that. You pulled back before you had, you know, a much larger move. So while I will point out you had the heaviest volume that's ever poured into the stock, okay, today, the last time was over here. So while I will point that out, I'm just also going to make it clear that this thing can pull back. It is in the realm of possibilities to consolidate here before going higher. And I do know premiums are just jacked to the tits on this name. So that is something to take note of. Oklo did end up, you know, putting in a little topping candlestick today. Dark cloud cover, whatever you want to refer to that as. Yeah, it doesn't look the best, but, you know, honestly, this thing's probably still going to be heading up to new highs, in my personal opinion. And then the next one we're going to be talking about over here is NNE. Okay, NNE, guys, I know it didn't get the move just yet. It pulled all the way back. It's a gift, in my personal opinion. I think this thing's probably just going to consolidate here. I think it probably still makes the move this week or next week. And yeah, it's one to put on your radar. But yeah, 10 to 20% moves can definitely happen on this name, as you saw today. 20% move down. But yeah, they definitely can. And I think we're probably going to start. This thing's going to be heating up in the short term. That's all I'm getting at. NNE. All right. NNE, everyone's small market cap over here. SMR, Oklo want to be moving the size of this market cap every single day individually. Yeah, I think at some point this thing is probably going to hit the jets, and I'm still saying 70 to 80 bucks incoming. That's NNE. Okay. Moving on. We're talking UROY. UROY. Now, it does have a big-ass move going on in the after hours. I'm really hoping it does not open too high here. I'm hoping we just open, you know, maybe like, you know, 10% up. Probably not going to be the case. Probably going to have a massive gap here. But yeah, this thing is gapping into new all-time highs, and I think this is very likely going to continue for a little bit. Premiums are going to be jacked. after a move like this, so keep that in mind. But I do think it's going to be something that continues moving, and it's going to have some intraday action on a lot of these gap ups. It continues. Now, that being said, do you get this gap up, almost 30% gap up? No, you do not. But yeah, it is moving. Okay, there you go. AMD looks like it's about to break out the new highs in the short term. Very likely going to happen into end of week. I think you might actually get like a 10% move into end of week here, and a 10% move on this name would bring you up to about 265. No guarantees, but yeah, I'm just telling you, this suggests we are going probably a lot higher over the coming months over here on AMD. Dips are going to remain buying opportunities. I can't tell if you continue consolidating over here, building out some tight consolidation. You still haven't tested the 9 EMA, but it does look like this thing just wants to explode in the short term, and I'm guessing that's going to be the case. You had a 6% move today, 15-point move. On weeklies, I'm pretty sure I looked, and you need like a 10-point move to get 100% from current price. So just keep that in mind if you're playing the short term. There is a chance you cap out right here, pull back, okay, maybe gap down, consolidate into end of week, and you just go next week. Playing weeklies, that's not ideal. So keep that scenario in mind. QS, you did get the pop into new highs today, guys. And I do think this is going to be going higher into end of week. That's all I'm really going to say on QS. I think this is, at some point, this is just going to start hitting the jets for a few weeks at a time. And yeah, I can't tell if it's going to start right now, but I'm pretty sure it is going to start right now. Okay. Through 1907 brings 20 plus. That's QS. TSM, you have earnings in the, I think, morning. Okay. I'm pretty sure all of these are mornings. Yes, you have earnings in the morning. I think MU is probably going to be participating with TSM. If MU can get out of this area, okay, above 201, get out of this consolidation, I think this is probably going, dare I say it, 220 plus, okay? But yeah, 210, that's kind of my minimum target over here. But yeah, 220 is more like it. I think 220 to 240 is more freaking like it. This is probably going to continue. TSM, while I'm not telling you to play TSM, it does look like it's going to be moving up here in the short term. Its earnings normally don't bring the largest of gap ups. When they do, all right, we're talking just like 3 to 5%. Some are larger than others, but that's really the top end of most of them there. But MU is what I'm telling you, the premiums are not going to be jacked over here because of earnings. And, this thing is definitely set up to move. And if you can get the break above 201, at that point, it's probably going to be just like these other ones where, these first few sessions, you're flying. Okay. This one right here within, we'll just look at the weekly chart. Okay. You broke out with one within, the next Friday of that breakout, you had a really big ass move. Okay. 20% move over here. When you broke out that Friday, you had a 12% move by that Friday. I'm thinking this thing's probably going to have a very similar move here. And we already know this thing could move when it breaks out. Look, you had a breakout over here, did not pull back. You had a breakout over here, did not pull back. Had a breakout over here. You did pull back for one day and then you just rocketed, okay? Breakout over here did not pull back. So I'm thinking we might have a really big move over here right around the corner, like another day like this on MU. And you might have the potential here to get big paid into end of week here on this name because of TSM earnings. If this thing gaps you up, I think you might get this. All right. So that's MU. Above 201 brings 220 plus, I'm pretty sure. Top watch material right there. CELH pulled back, reverted to the mean after, having this false breakout up here. Guess what? Okay. It's very likely still going to be breaking out in the short term. 641.81. That's the new level to watch. Above there, $69. I think this is probably going to get there by next Friday. And yeah, that's that 69. That's what you're watching. That's what you're targeting over here. CELH. Joby, Joby. I'm just going to, remind everyone, hey, heaviest volume out of the last 6 sessions now. We've had 3 of those sessions having the heaviest volume ever recorded over here on JOBY. If you go down to the small time frames, is buy volume that's taking place there. This is very likely going to be pushing up. I'm thinking this is going to have a massive move up, and it's only a matter of time here. JOBY might be pushing up. I'm talking all the way to $20 by end of week. Somehow, against all odds, it's possible. JOBY. INTC, guys, they started loading 48 calls. All right. March, 48C starting to come in for, I think it was 2.5 mil came in. Golden sweep orders. I think it was above the ask actually as well. Over here on INTC, they also had shorter dated calls coming in as well. But yeah, that's what really lit it up for me. 48 strike. That's quite out the money. Now, I know that's like months out, but hey, all right, if you're throwing millions of dollars around and you're playing options, then yeah, you're probably going to buy some time. If you're not, you either are very certain you know something or you are a degenerate throwing that type of money around on, you know, short dated options there. Either way, INTC, I think, is about to have its next leg up, and it might start into end of week. We'll see if you do, but this thing might pop off into end of week. If it doesn't go this week, then I think it probably will go next week. But, you know, everybody just remember how wide these weekly candles were not too long ago, okay? This is right here, 30%, 33%. This is 26%. This right here over here, 15%. What do we got right now, guys? 7%. What is 15%? 15% is all the way up here. This bad boy is going to 40 bucks. Current price over here is 37 bucks. Wait a minute. That's way cheaper. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But yeah, if that happens, you also push next week, and that's the big move. You probably do go straight to 48 bucks, but you know, I'm going to say 45 plus if you can get this move into end of week going here on INTC. So again, top watch material into end of week. ALB, who fucking with me? This looks like it wants to break up this week. ALB, 99 bucks. That's your resistance right now. You are basing out right underneath that, in between that and the 9 EMA. This is likely going to be snapping up to the upside here in the short term. That's ALB above 99. We have nothing until 113.91. There you go. CRV. Now this thing, it was a little troll today. I decided I'm just holding my shares at this point on this, but you know, it did end up giving us over 100% there this morning, just about 100% on one and then 50% on the other. And then, you know, it got slammed like everything else today because Mr. Trump wants to fight with China and he wants to start World War III. That's just not even start. I'm just going to say there's been a lot of conflict. Everyone has hated the U.S., all right? Tariffs have been nothing but let's have every country out there just kind of have a problem with the U.S. That's what that is. I'm going to say World War III. But, you know, either way, it is what it is. This thing is probably going to be still continuing to have this move into end of week, I'm thinking. But either way, I'm going to look for this thing to, if we get a pullback here, all right, into either probably honestly early next week. If we get the pullback early next week, I think it gets bought aggressively, and I do think we're going to have a big move and we take out this weekly high. Okay, so either way, that's the game plan over here on this ticker. But yeah, you know, I think this thing's going a lot higher, and it's popping up to new highs today. That's SCRV. RR, guys, pulling back over here to the 9 EMA. This is the 4th day in a row that you were sitting on the 9 EMA. This has a big move coming. This is consolidation over here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the upside, but there is a chance this thing does have a larger pullback and comes all the way back down to 470s. Okay, this is why I was saying, hey, all right, it's good practice to be taking profits. If you were getting in down here, you were up almost 100% within, you know, we're talking like 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, if you get that move, you don't want to be in the spot where you didn't take any profits. You could do what I personally did. You could take half off, and then if you get that, you add it back, and there you go. Because at the end of the day, this thing probably goes up here. And if it just goes without you and it doesn't give you that pullback, then guess what? You still have half your original position there, and it's going a lot higher, like a lot higher. If you get back up here, yeah, you know, robotics team is going a lot higher. But if it gives you that opportunity, then you can now take advantage of it. Okay, there you go. That's RR. But yeah, SCRV, this is the one that I'm going to be trading short term with options over here. And yeah, you know, I think at the end of the day, this is an absolute beautiful chart. I think it will return to these highs, but over the next few weeks, I fully anticipate it to trade like this, and that's how I'm going to be trading my options on it. All right, that's SERB. ACHR, guys, false breakout today. I have a feeling it's not going to stick as a false breakout. You've tested this spot 4 times now. This is the 4th time. We'll see about it. We'll see. But yeah, if you take out today's high here, which, you know, from current price, it's a 12% move. I think this thing has like a 20 to 30% move over a 1 to 2 day period. yeah, from there, I think this thing's probably going 16 plus if you get over 1462. ACHR. At the end of the day, this is probably going to break out this month, next 2 weeks. All right. That's what the monthly chart's whispering in my ear right now. ACHR. Okay. And if Joby is going to be doing what I'm thinking over here, it's all shot the smaller guy over there. ACHR wants to go with her. Okay. There you go. There you go, guys. All right. The last one I am going to point out. Well, I'm also going to point out sound over here. I think we get some consolidation. We get a pullback, and then we continue into all-time highs next week. That's what I'm thinking on sound. Congrats if you did end up making money on sound.
That was easy.
You caught a big move. We've had some big moves, over the past few sessions here. But, real talk, guys, it is still that uncertain market. Just try and be quick in this market. Try and be in and out. I'm just pointing out for a fact, you can nail things so quick in the day, and all of a sudden the whole market wants to pull back because, again, China and Trump want to argue about things. Everything gives every single thing back it had in the whole day and way more. Okay. So I'm telling you, the ideal approach right now is what I've been talking about, which is take a step back. The things that are going to be moved with the market, just take a step back. Just don't trade them right now. The Mag 7 stock, don't trade them. I think GOOG is setting up over there. I pointed that out. That was the first trade idea of this video. That's beautiful. Okay. Trade that guy. Don't trade the other ones. They're not setting up. They're not good. But real talk, there are moves happening right now, but you're getting these impulsive moves and you still can get false breakouts. You still can have, if the water is sinking, then all the ships will sink. That is how that's going to go. If the water is coming down, the ships go down. Okay. It's the tide. It's the market tide. Well, that's what's going on right now. And I'm telling you, you're going to pick a direction over the coming sessions. You might as well just wait. Okay, so size down for the time being, try and be in and out, and make your freaking money. The market will have multiple opportunities every single week to take back the money that it's given you, and it's your job as a trader to maneuver around that. Just how it is. That being said, guys, I think things are going to be pushing up to all-time highs. Don't let me bull you up, but I do think we're going back to all-time highs in the short term. I think that's what smaller time frames here are suggesting. Look at this lower wick here on the hourly 4-hour time frame. All right, my cloud is about to flip. Typically when that happens, when we get right here, they either slam you or they pump you. I'm thinking it's looking like we're going to pump, but again, it's one or the other. It's just like over here on the 15-minute cloud. All right, they either slam you or they pump you. They either flip it green and you start a move, or they avoid it flipping green, and that's exactly what you did right there. You see, oh, bang, they slammed you. All right, either way, guys, I'm just going to say everybody have a lovely rest of their night. I will catch y'all in the next one. If you want to come trade with me, that link is down below. You can take half off using code HIMS. All right. You could do anything you want. You could do the lifetime. You could do the monthly. I haven't done a monthly discount in, I don't know, it's been quite some time. So I figured with HIMS over there running almost 100% one day, on 1121 calls, and considering I think we're going to be going to 90 plus over the coming weeks, I think people are going to make some bags. You can come have your first month be only $40 there. Okay. But with that being said, guys, please remember to leave a like on the video. I greatly appreciate it. I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.